recently watched the entire Twilight movies for the very first time ever, and it made me have this really weird desire to go and reread the entire Twilight series, which I haven't read since they first came out, when I was like 12. So I went ahead and got in my car, hurried my butt over to the thrift store, and decided to thrift the entire Twilight saga, which I was able to get for under $12, which was awesome. So I figured there's no time like the present to go ahead and reread one of the biggest books of my generation that also caused some of the most controversy and see if they are as good as I remember them being. So let's go get started. It's time! Welcome to day one of this little fun reading challenge. I have Twilight here. This is the first book in the series, if you guys somehow did not know that. It's also the smallest book in the series at 498 pages, which that's a lot of pages. However, if you look at it closely, like the pages, the words are really, really large, okay? Like they're pretty big, they're pretty spaced out. They have a lot of space, like the margins are all pretty spaced out as well. So like honestly, it's not quite as intimidating as I originally thought it was going to be. This is also the book in the series that I know the storyline of the best. I think with this whole series though, it will be pretty easy for me to get through it just because I already know the world, I already know the characters, I already know what's going to happen. So all of this like world building and having to like, you know, really take a lot of time to read when you're usually in a fantasy type of setting, I don't have to do here because I've already experienced it. So I'm thinking that I'll be able to get through this honestly pretty quickly, especially, let's see, today's Wednesday. I actually think I could potentially finish this before Saturday. We'll see. I think we can get through this pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and start reading and see what we think of this. She is now officially meeting the vampires, or seeing them for the first time. The very first line on this page says, "It was there sitting in the lunchroom trying to make conversation with 7 curious strangers that I first saw them." In my mind, I'm just replaying the image of the movie when they're just like walking into the cafeteria in slow motion. I'm excited to see what this is like compared to the movie since the movie's so fresh in my mind. I also remember what's her name? Anna Kendrick is in the movie. She is Jessica, who was like one of her best friends in the book, and she just kind of got introduced as well, and I just like keep thinking of Anna Kendrick, which is, it's fun. I like being able to like take the characters that they have cast in the movie and be able to like see them in real life. I feel like it makes it a little bit more, it's easier for me to like see in my head and have it play out that way, which is kind of fun. I'm already on page 84, the beginning of chapter 5. She is starting to realize that he's a little, like he's getting around really fast. So he saved her from the car accident already, and then she said that she saw him on the other side of the parking lot. She dropped her keys and he was the one who picked him up, and she was like, "How did you do that? Like, you literally got here so fast." And then he just offered to drive her to Seattle since she was planning on going to Seattle instead of going to the school dance. That's where we're at right now in this book. I will say that earlier when I said that it's kind of fun to be able to like see people's faces and everything from the movie and put it into the book, I'm actually regretting that decision now. I just feel like they are described so differently in the book. They are described as being just insanely beautiful, insanely gorgeous. I don't think Edward in the movie was that at all. I thought actually that he was not attractive. No shade against everyone else, but I just feel like they could have been, I don't know, not cast better, but they could have just looked a lot better in the movie, and in the book, like it's just a little different. It's kind of hard to like see what she's describing in the book versus like what I know that they were cast as in the movie. So I'm kind of trying now to kind of disassociate the two of them. So that's a little frustrating, but either way, it's still a really good book. I feel like I'm gonna plow through this so fast since I'm already 85 pages in. So we'll keep reading. I'm actually really excited to see Jacob, like once Jacob gets into the picture, because he hasn't entered the picture yet. So I'm excited about that. Oh my goodness. I worked out yesterday. I did a really hard leg workout and my body hurts. So that's beside the point because it is the next day. It's actually nighttime of the next day. So it's been a little over 24 hours and we are 256 pages into Twilight. He is taking her out to a field so that way she can see him shine and sparkle and glitter for the very first time. So she knows that he's a vampire, but she hasn't gone to the family's house yet. I think that's going to happen in this little
series right here. Getting a little bit easier for me to read only because I've kind of decided to recast the characters in my head of who I want them to look like and be versus the movie. So that's helped a lot because I have like different people in mind now, and it's making me kind of enjoy the book a little bit more. But also I'm going through this and I'm like, this girl's literally crazy. Like, this guy is point blank telling her, and granted, like, he might be a little dramatic, but also maybe not, but he's literally being like,
I could kill you. I could kill you anytime. Like, if I take you out somewhere and you don't tell people that where I am or where you are, and people aren't expecting you back, I can just kill you and nobody would even know.
Like, that's weird. That's dangerous, toxic. I mean, totally toxic. So I don't know. And then she's still like, I love you. You know, like, she already has admitted to herself that she's in love with him. So that's major red flag. I just don't understand how we like all read this a couple, 10 plus years ago, and we were like, oh my gosh, I want to be her. She's so amazing. Anyway, we'll keep reading. We'll see what else stands out to me.
We're almost done. We're really close.
Okay, hi. Let me put the dust jacket back on Twilight real quick so I can show you guys. We're done. It only took me a couple of days to get through this Twilight book. I think the reason why I didn't get through it faster was just because I was busy. I already had stuff going on. But it's definitely like not as good as I remember it being. I remember it being so good when I was younger, when they first came out. Even when the movies came out, I remember everyone just being like, these are so good. And it is like, it's like a cult following series. Like, she made so much money off of this. It's one of the top selling like series of books ever written, like up there with Harry Potter, up there with the Bible. Like, it's crazy that so many people like, followed this and got behind it. And I just remember like reading it when I was younger, thinking it was so stinking good. And it's still good, but you definitely see a lot more of like maybe it's just like the teenage decision behind it. Like, there's not a whole lot of thought processes. Like, one day she's just like curious about these like vampires, and then the next day, like, boom, she loves them. It's kind of ridiculous and a little weird. So I'm gonna give this one, I think, probably 3 stars. I liked it, but again, it was just a little weird. We have New Moon now. This is the second book in this series. I wonder how big is this book? This book is 563 pages long, so we have quite a bit of reading to do for this one. I actually have the audiobook of this one. It just came available for me to check out from my library yesterday. I think that will help me get through it a little bit easier. So we'll go ahead and start New Moon.
Chapter 1, Party. I was 99.9% sure I was dreaming. The reasons I was so certain were that, first, preparation of the Black Event. She ignored me. Or later, she asked eagerly as we made our way to where Edward still waited. Or once. Might as well document the experience. How many times have you been a senior?
Okay, I am so ashamed to admit this, but I have literally almost read the entirety of this book basically in one day. I started it on Saturday night. I started the audiobook version of it on Saturday night, listened to a little bit of it but then yesterday, like, I just plowed through the whole freaking thing. I'm on page 443 and there's 500 and something pages. Let me see. There's 563 pages. So I'm 120 pages until the end. We're on chapter 20 where Edward is about to go and reveal himself out in Italy, so that way he will get executed because he thinks that Bella has died and he's trying to join her. So I don't know what it is about this book. Honestly, first off, I like this book so much better than I like Twilight. I think this one will probably be my favorite, and I think the reasoning behind that is, sadly, because Edward's not really in it as much. And I mean that, like, their relationship isn't really in it. Like, yeah, like, she's super, super depressed and super, super sad. It's like she's grieving the death of a loved one. I don't think Jacob would have left her, like, Edward would have left her to make her go into this insane spiral that, like, almost killed her, So I like Jacob for that reason. But again, we have 120 pages left. I'm gonna go ahead and try to crack down and read try to read as much of it as I can today. I might go back to the audiobook version. I'm actually gonna go see Dune tonight, so that's gonna take up like 3 hours of my evening that I won't be able to read. But I mean, I know how it ends, but I'm excited to kind of like read it and see how it was written, and then also move on to the rest of the series to see if the first book just wasn't good or if the rest of the series is not as good because of their actual relationship being shown more in it. I don't know, we'll find out. Well, you guys, we have finished New Moon. This book, in my opinion, was so much better than the first one. I really did enjoy this one. I flew through it so fast, and I really did enjoy the different storylines in here. I feel like it does a good job of setting up for the third book, Eclipse, which I do have just right over here. I'm going to start reading that as soon as I can, but I definitely just like this one a lot better. I feel like it was more like the storylines, the world building was so much better, so we were able to like learn a lot more about the world of the vampires as well as what the werewolves are doing and that like treaty that they have with that reservation. So it was a lot of fun. Again, I don't think necessarily all of it was super realistic in how somebody would actually react if this was the situation, but also it's like an improbable situation. So I don't think she really had that much really to go off of as well. With that being said, I'm going to rank this book higher than I ranked Twilight. I'm going to rank this one 4 stars, I think. I think I'm good with the 4-star ranking. I was trying to decide if I want to do like a 3.75 or a 4-star, but 4-star ranking is what I'm going to give this one. I just really liked it a lot. I had a hard time wanting to stop or having to stop reading when I like needed to go to bed and go to work and stuff. It was hard for me to put the book down, and I think that's kind of what made it push it past that 4-star rating. Anyway, we'll get on to Eclipse. I don't have that one via audiobook yet. I have it on hold at the library, and I guess compared to, I guess they look almost exactly the same. Let me see how many pages are in here. I feel like this one just looks a lot bigger. Let me see. Okay, so this one is about 100 pages longer than New Moon, and New Moon is about 100 pages longer than Twilight. So this book is 630 pages long, which is quite a big task to do. So we'll see how long it takes, but I'm really excited to dive into this one. We've got a whole vibe going on in here. Let me show you guys what we got for our reading tonight. Okay, so we got our lamp on. I actually have this app called Wiz. It's on my phone, but I can change my lighting on my all my lights in my room to make them different colors. So I have like this softer muted light going on. We got the candle. We have on my computer, I actually have one of the Twilight soundtracks playing that has like Muse and Florence and the Machine and so many great songs from the Eclipse soundtrack. So we have that playing. We got some more like muted soft lighting. I actually muted the lights up here, so while they look bright right now on the camera, they're actually quite soft. And so we've got this nice little vibe going on to be reading Eclipse. So we're gonna keep reading it because it's just honestly like it's good. It's really good. I'm really liking this book. I'm only 100 pages into it, but I'm vibing, I'm feeling it. So we're gonna set up and just kind of read and be cozy for a little while. We got my cozy comfort candle going, so I'm excited. Body too, yeah, body too. Okay, so currently he is explaining, Jacob is explaining to Bella what imprinting is, and he's now going into the story about Sam imprinting on Emily instead of his girlfriend Leah. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me, I didn't capture it the first time, but Leah and Emily are cousins. So he literally went from one cousin to another, which I know isn't like that, I guess that weird, but he explains in here that they like grew up together and they were like basically like sisters. So that's a little, I don't know. I have to say, can we just leave and walk away, walk away, walk away. Maybe you won't see me get emotional, and sometimes it's the next day. Yesterday I started reading Eclipse and I got 200 pages into this book. Crazy. I just started reading and I couldn't stop. And I'm not listening to an audiobook version. I'm not reading the ebook. Like that's physical pages turned, and this book was over 200 pages. I am now on page 214. Really excited to keep on reading it. I think I'm becoming a tryhard again.
I'm just gonna say it, becoming a twihard. So I'm excited. Anyway, we'll go ahead and keep on reading this book and see how far we can get today. That was cheesy, okay. My goodness, you guys, if I was not a twihard before, I'm a twihard now, and I absolutely love it. One of the reasons why I love this book is because you do get a little bit more of a backstory on Jasper. Jasper has always really intrigued me because he kind of is the newest member of the family before Bella gets there, and so you don't really know too much about him, I feel like, but in the first couple of books, you get the backstory behind Rosalie and Alice and Edward, even Esme a little bit, and and Carlisle, but you don't really get a backstory behind Jasper until you get to the third book, until you get to Eclipse. So that was really fun to kind of get his backstory a little bit and like learn more about him, and then see him also step up and be able to kind of almost show his, what would you call it? He gets to like prove his worth a little bit to the family, which I think is really, really interesting. So that is why I enjoyed this one so much. There's actually a little novella that comes after this, that was written after the series was originally published, called I think it's The Storied Life of Bree Tanner, who is one of the newborn vampires that was created in this book. And they actually show her a little bit in the movie as well. So I actually have that on audiobook. It's only 4 hours long, and I'm gonna actually listen to it after I finish Breaking Dawn, because that's just how it was written. I started Breaking Dawn yesterday, and I am already 250 pages into it. That's a lot, but I've been listening to an audiobook today, so I think that's kind of why I had a work from home day, and I've been able to sit here for like 5 or 6 hours and just listen to it while I've been working. So that is part of the reason. We are now at the point we're in Jacob's book, which I think that's kind of fun to have a different point of view. I don't know if we get an Edward's book. I know that she wrote a book, or that she has like a book written in his perspective. This one also is bigger than Eclipse, which remember Eclipse was bigger than New Moon. This one is 700 pages. I honestly feel like I could probably get through this in 2 or 3 days with how I'm going right now. Anyway, we'll go ahead and keep reading. I will check in soon, I'm sure, with more updates from this book. I'm getting so close to finishing Breaking Dawn. I have about 100 pages left of this book, and I've actually been making a Twilight playlist. I actually made this a couple of weeks ago, but it's a playlist with all of the soundtracks and the songs from the movies, which I think is so fun. It's just over 5 hours long. It has almost 80 songs on it, so I'll link it down below. I have it on Apple Music. I just think it's fun to like listen to music from the soundtracks of books, movies that go along with the books. So I'm almost done with this one. Right now we are at the point where I think it's starting to kind of vary, like it's starting to really vary from what we see in the movies. So we are at the point where Bella is getting fake documents for her daughter and for Jacob to potentially have to leave and flee the country, which we saw in the movie as well, but they just go about it a little bit differently. And she's also wanting to learn how to fight in case the Volturi need to fight her, you know, in case she needs to go to battle. So I am anxious to see how this is going to end, but I'm on page 652 and there's 753 pages. So we're really, really close to being done. I think I'll be able to finish it by the end of today. I'm just fully immersed in this world. I just love it so much already. So I know that I kind of hated on the first book, but the more that the books go on, the more I just love it so much. And I think I'm actually going to be kind of sad when this series ends. I know that there's actually 2 more books that are written after she wrote the initial saga about Twilight. So there's this Short Life of Bree Tanner. And then there's also Midnight Sun, which is from Edward's point of view. So I might try to go and read those after I finish this one, because I'm so close. So I know I'll be able to finish it today, but it's kind of sad at the same time because it's such a fun series to belong to and to be a part of. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish off this book. Alice just showed up. You guys. She left earlier in the book and didn't tell anybody what was happening, and now she just showed back up to the fight scene. Well, not a fight scene yet, but you know what I mean. The Volturi are there. She just showed up. Oh, interesting. I don't remember any of this at all from before when I was younger, so this is all new to me. Aww. Oh my goodness, we're done. Well, y'all, we did it. I finished Breaking Dawn yesterday. I've had some time now to kind of sit and think about this book as well as the series in general. Real quick with this book, I really did like it. I feel like it's kind of hard with this book, however, because it is 700 pages plus long, which is a very, very big chunk of reading. And she also crammed so much stuff into it. If you think about it, there's a wedding, there's a pregnancy, there's a insane like birth, there is her becoming a vampire, there is this the imprinting, and then there's the Volturi coming and like a fight and all of that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that she crams into this. I still like how it ended. I again had some issues with Jacob and Bella, but you know what? It's over, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. And I still think that Eclipse is probably my favorite book. I mean, I did really like Breaking Dawn as well, but I think this one is my favorite. I just really liked it. I thought the whole like the whole story was just cute. There's also a little novella that I actually listened to this morning. The audiobook was only 4 hours long, and so I just listened to it when I was at work today. And it's about Bree Tanner, who they find in Eclipse, I believe. She's one of the newborn vampires that was captured by Carlisle and Esme, and then she ends up unfortunately being killed by the Volturi. But I really liked listening to that little novella just because it was fun to like get a different perspective from the series. As a whole though, I'm gonna give this series, I think, a 3.5, maybe 4 stars. I really do like this series, which I know it's kind of ridiculed for being inherently bad. And I've been watching a little bit more of like some reviews of people who have been rereading these books as well. And I understand now like why people kind of do harp on it and do hate it a little bit. And I know there's not like a whole lot of development of like Bella and Edward in like the first couple of books, just because like this seems like there's not enough dialogue for them to actually like be able to fall in love with each other. And I just don't really get it, but I still think that it's just good. Like, I can't explain it. You just have to like, if you know, you know, like you just have to kind of just immerse yourself in the world. I think that's why I was able to like these books so much, is because I kind of just immersed myself in the world a little bit more with every book, which is why I think I liked every book more and more. So that's just kind of my opinion. I don't know. I still think Twilight's good. Will I read these again? Yes, I will. Will I read them again this year? Probably not, but I do want to annotate them at some point. I think that would be kind of fun to do. Will I keep watching the movies? Obviously. The movies are so bad, but yet so good. Anyway, that's it for this week's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this reread. If you guys have any other books that you would like to have me reread in these series, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to go and read more books. I think these are just so fun to do, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye!